Insane, insane, insane. Bro, calm down. Valve isn't making hardly any OLED systems because who's buying the Steam Deck? Over the course of the systems being out for years, they've only sold 3 to 4 million. That's nothing. The Switch 2 just sold over 3 million in its first weekend on sale. Keep coping, bro. One thing about console warring is it actually removes, I think, a lot of folks' imagination or even the need for them to find information that is out there in front of them. I mean, if this person had actually taken a very close look, they would have realized that such a piece of proprietary hardware that's not distributed everywhere is already out of stock because for some strange reason, all this talk about who's buying the OLEDs seems to have missed that, particular comment where they're saying, hey man, we're temporarily out of stock in the US and Canada. As we adopt recent supply chain constraints, we're going to basically get you guys some by the end of this summer. Another thing that's very important in this video is after all is said and done, this person wants to import the Switch into the conversation where we're saying that this new ROG Ally X device from Xbox and Asus is going to grant you the ability to be able to play PC games and mostly PlayStation games, which are on PC. Now, here's the thing that nobody has actually said that's a benefit for this. Those of you who play on console, if you ever choose to adopt this particular hardware piece, I wonder what you would do in terms of your subscription service. Would you go Game Pass Ultimate or would you go Game Pass PC? You see, this device has just subsidized for many console gamers the price of their subscription at the time being. On PC, we play by different rules. That person that's touting a Nintendo Switch console, you're just looking for an opportunity where I'll just go after this console for nothing because, you somehow think that this console actually bears any weight in sensibility in terms of gaming. They're charging you for every darn thing on that device, and a lot of people are rushing out to buy it. It's okay. We're about to see the buyer's remorse set in even more, as I've already started seeing some people talking about how buggy the Switch is. In fact, let me give you one story. This weekend, a friend of mine showed up. He had just bought himself a Nintendo Switch. Well, guess what? The thing would not turn on. So he's like, dude, do you have a power cable or something? I was like, yeah, I got my Steam Deck power cable. Actually, no, the old Nintendo Switch cable that my kids have. Yeah, that's the one that I got. It was sitting right there in the living room. We plugged it in and turned it on. And he's like, that's strange. The battery was at 22%. I was like, uh-oh. And then I go on Twitter and I start seeing stuff. So immediately I asked him, I said, yo, did you buy the insurance coverage on that thing? He's like, yeah. So I was like, okay, good. Because Nintendo Switch consoles, as much as you may want to talk left and right, yeah, especially the Switch 2, that's not the console you should be talking about in this conversation. But back to the conversation at hand, we play by a different set of rules. Here on the PC ecosystem, you can play online, or you do play online without any subscription fee. And something that has, in a sense, nailed that down, not saying it can't be eroded, is basically the fact that we have decentralized storefronts who sell these games to you. Hence, the developers and the storefronts need only maintain the servers out there because who are you going to give the money to? Like Steam? Who? Xbox Store? Who? Good Old Games? Well, they don't do a lot of online play, but Epic Games? Who? Ubisoft? Who? EA? All these distributors all over the place know that if they start charging you their $4.99, $9.99 a piece, you're going to run away. You're not going to want to deal with them, so they don't do it over here. But because the console side is regulated by the three-piece mafia, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, they bill that to you. In fact, if you look at the difference between Game Pass Ultimate and Game Pass PC, you'll realize that that online play is actually factored into the mathematics of what they charge for the console. Interesting stuff. If you're paying attention as to how you as a console user can move to reduce your cost and to minimize it for now, that is for now, because they know that it's a hard sell for the PC user, Game Pass is actually asking on PC $11.99 per month. Ultimate is $19.99, but here's what it basically gives you. It gives you, say, Cloud Play. If you're using that, then sure. I mean, nothing crazy about that. Gives you new games on day one, and the online console multiplayer is where that $4.99 comes in at the end of the day. When it's down to it, both versions of Game Pass pretty much would do the same thing. The difference is Ultimate covers both console and PC. And at the end of the day, when you kind of think about it, you can switch back and forth for whatever your convenience actually is. This is something that a lot of folk are missing out here in terms of the conversation. So you as the Xbox gamer, welcome to PC. Welcome to the benefits. Do not let this console warriors come out here to make you miss out on some of the, benefits that you can experience if you dial into this part of the ecosystem, which is basically PC. Don't let them basically try to get you back into those walled gardens where all they want to do is scarve your money day and night. That's basically all they do. I mean, literally, they'll sit there and they'll charge you money for every single thing. They nickel and dime you because there's no one to really compete with them in that space. It's just 3 of them. Whereas all the third-party publishers have the opportunity to compete outside of those platforms. If they want, they can create their own stores, as Ubisoft has done, as EA has done, as Rockstar has done, even though we hate the storefronts, but they can still be competitive in those particular spaces. That's what makes the PC ecosystem quite insane, in my opinion. And Xbox saying, here it is, when it's already been there for the longest time anyways, is something that you shouldn't let all these discussions basically use to throw you off. I saw somebody making a 1-hour video complaining about how Xbox gamers are fake and they never really, cared about the games. They only cared about PlayStation games and all. I'm like, man, this console warring nonsense is insane and silly. At the end of the day, what's really here that matters is what is the benefit that gamers get from all of this. And from where I'm sitting, you already have access to buying. If you're already buying Xbox games, you can play all those games on a gaming PC. If you already had, some kind of a library that you built within the Series X generation, you can play those games. And you don't have to throw your Xbox console away. That's another thing a lot of people are, basically seeing that, oh, what am I going to do with my Xbox games? But you do know you can already emulate your Xbox, your Xbox games, or emulate games via your console. So your console is an open ecosystem and still keep it to play your existing Xbox library that's not yet accessible outside of remote play on these Windows devices. So back to the story at hand. They've basically opened up a door for you where now you have an extra layered option that the console warriors are not interested in you finding out. Instead, they want to tell you about the Nintendo Switch, where you're going to go buy a $400 console to play games that they're going to also want to nickel and dime you, for a button and all kinds of weird stuff. Yo, anybody talking about PC and then another person comes in and talks about a Nintendo Switch in the same sentence is not serious about the conversation. That's just the reality. I'm going to let you go. Talk to me in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.